information on this camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it creates an aura of intimacy that I feel so comfortable with.
Yeah, it's not like right in your face.
It's not, and Morgan is a Welsh name. I'm of Welsh origin. Okay, we have this expression in Welsh, forthcoming, which means the state of where things become intimate. Okay, and I suppose in terms of this tactile reality that I'm referring to, that it really happens when intimacy is present. If intimacy is not present, then there is the constant distancing and the constant detachment from reality. We have too much detachment from reality. Too much of that is in the market, and too much of that is in the media that is trying to tell people that art is about detachment, in so many words, okay? I am interested in a very different point of view, okay? Whether it's marketable or not, naturally, I hope it is, to some that really collect in a serious way. But I think the communication that's coming through the media is not in favor of this kind of intimacy. And perhaps this technology, Jeffrey, that we're using for this film is a way of bringing intimacy back into the media, and therefore making it work on behalf of art and on behalf of artists, who really believe that this kind of forthcoming, this kind of getting into the intimacy of the self, the language, is a very, very important part of art.
I believe it too.
Okay. It was a very intense night last night. I hope some of this is making sense, what I'm saying. My God, the dinner we had here was quite... it was like one of the... I don't know how to put it. I don't want to sound nostalgic, but I suppose that's part of my personality. But, it's wonderful to have a dinner where people are open with each other, in terms of really talking about art. Not just, the prices and, all this bullshit that goes on at the dinner table, who's making what in terms of, what gallery they're in. Who cares? Or, gallery talk, it absolutely doesn't interest me. Boring. I'm interested in what I'm doing as an artist, and I'm interested in what other people are doing as artists. This is why I have devoted so much of my career over the years to writing. My whole idea was to have a conversation with other artists, sometimes from a critical point of view. It's not so bad. One of the great things about this exhibition is I had friends here last night who were willing to engage me critically, saying, Robert, this is working for me, but that is not. And this is so great because the table can be turned, and I can begin to feel what it's like when somebody is giving me a critical judgment, which is not so bad. I've often been in a situation where there is this issue of how can you possibly be a critic and a painter? And the first thing I say is, well, in fact, I'm a painter and a critic. Okay?
The painter first, yeah.
That's right. But I love writing. I love this whole process that I was talking about a moment ago in terms of the literati, which literally means the writer-artist. Okay, it's a Chinese idea, I suppose. And is connected very much to the brush and to the language, because you make the first mark, it can either be a word or it can be an image. And we don't have that in the West. But what interests me is the kind of space that is vitalized through that stroke of the brush. We have that kind of space, and I am, as a painter, dealing with that kind of space. I don't deal with the gesture, but I deal with the space of the gesture, because the gesture is a mental action, okay? In other words, mentally, I am making the stroke, but in fact, what I'm doing is taking that mental act and creating a transference in terms of the space that would be there from the mental act. So that's the conceptual aspect of my work. Okay? I don't know if I made myself clear, but it's something that's not just theory. Well, yes, what I would call a kind of heuristic theory. Okay? In other words, it's a theory that has evolved over time in the process of my work. Okay? It's not something that is detached from how I think as an artist or how I work as an artist. It's something that's very much a part of my learning process. I'm still learning. I've been around for a while, but one of the great joys of what I do is that suddenly I find something out that is so necessary for me to know. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, I should have known that 40 years ago or 50 or whatever. No, I'm learning it now. That's what's exciting. I'm learning it now. And therefore, it makes me feel vital in terms of the act of creation. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great idea that you can be revitalized through the process of painting. I mean, you can use whatever kind of words you want to use. Sometimes words fall short of what I'm trying to say. But the fact is that you are in it, you are committed to it, you're involved with it, and you really are trying to transmit something through that object that you feel is necessary to live in the world. Okay? Art has to come back to that point before we talk about auctions and speculations and investment. Okay? If we can understand that point, then we can go on and talk about the other pragmatic endeavors, because we all have to earn a living in terms of what we do as artists. But let's put the necessary material first, and then we go to the other stuff. Okay? And let's be serious about the other stuff, that it's a reality. Artists have to live. They have to be able to support themselves. This is a reality. But why is it an important reality? Because there's a commitment, a real investment in terms of time, energy, knowledge. I mean, one of the great things about painting is it is a kind of knowledge. It's not just information, not from my point of view. I mean, I'm very much appreciative of Umberto Eco's idea of the open work, in which he gives a great deal of credibility to information. But having gone through a long conceptual period in terms of that kind of jargon, whatever, I'm less interested in painting as information than painting as knowledge, because I think that what I'm trying to transmit is knowledge through painting. But the knowledge cannot come without the painting, because the action of doing it is what creates the knowledge.